Good afternoon, everybody. Students, please, can we maintain absolute silence, please? We are starting the program any moment from now. Yes. Hello? What you okay? Emmanuel.
Ṣé ó ní ó ń fún yín ní ìṣù àbí tó bá ní ìṣù bá kọ́ change ẹ̀.
Okay, right. Everyone, okay. No. No. I'm not compare. Escape the lane. Escape the lane. Escape the lane. Escape the lane. Good afternoon, everybody. We are starting the program now. I want to welcome everybody to this program. And please, students, please kindly maintain absolute silence, please. On behalf of the Dean, Faculty of Life Sciences, Professor Ajuwon, I welcome everyone, staff and students, all professors, HODs, to this our second faculty seminar series. I want to, on behalf of the Dean, welcome the Deputy Vice Chancellor of this great university, representing our Vice Chancellor, Professor Joshua Ogunwole, Professor Babatunde to the high table. You are welcome, sir. Babatunde Afolabi, you are welcome, sir. A round of applause for him. Professor Afolabi, you are welcome, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I would also like to welcome the host. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. I also want to welcome the host of this great faculty seminar series in the person of Professor Ajuwon, the Dean, Faculty of Life Sciences, to the high table. A round of applause for him, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And also, I would like to welcome the acting HOD, Department of Animal and Environmental Biology, to the high table, please. Is ably represented by Dr. Mrs. Omonija. A round of applause for her. Also, I would like to welcome the acting HOD, Department of Environmental Management and Toxicology, in the person of Dr. A.A. Ajuwon. And also the acting HOD, Department of Microbiology, Dr. S.K. Ojo. Also the acting HOD, Department of Plant Science and Biotechnology, Dr. Mrs. R.J. Komolafe. I think she's on her way. I would also like to honorably welcome the HOD of the Department of Biochemistry. Professor Thank you very much. 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 That was so resounding. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Then lastly, I just want to recognize the presenter for today, in the person of Professor Olawale Ajuwon. Thank you very much. I like the way you are. So the way you are trying to. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. Have your seat. Okay. Thank you very much. And also, Prof, my name is Dr. Ajuwon, Deputy Dean, Faculty of Life Sciences. I'm also the moderator for the program. Thank you very much. Now, quickly, please, let's move on. Quickly, please, let's move on. We want to recite the national anthem. The first stanza of the national anthem. Please, let's be on our feet quietly as we recite the first stanza of the national anthem. The national anthem first, please.
Je vais plier.
Don't try
the output.
Thank you very much. Now the FUOYE anthem, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, please, I would like to call on the Dean, Faculty of Life Sciences, in the person of Professor Oye-Ekiti.
Was here with us.
Okay, she was there.
This one.
Okay.
You know, it told me now.
Yeah.
It's pleased to meet you again.
I don't know, this troublemaker.
So now he was why you me that.
Okay.
The head of the conference, the chairman of our center, today's speaker, distinguished professors, esteemed colleagues, our dear students, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor and privilege to welcome you all to this faculty center. the second on the series. This gathering underscores our collective commitment to academic excellence, intellectual engagement, and advancements of knowledge within the faculty. Academic Center remains a vital platform for the change of ideas, solution of research findings, and promotion of critical thinking. It also provides a way for strengthening our research culture and fostering collaboration across history. Additionally, I would like to appreciate the Chairman of our Center for his dedication, coordination, and sustained efforts in ensuring the success and prosperity of this important academic program. I also wish to especially thank today's presenter for personally accepting the responsibility to represent the Department of Biology in this presentation. Now, we like to share your expertise and research work concerning community. And we are confident that your presentation will enrich our understanding and stimulate meaningful discussion, especially when it has to do with health benefit and more. As we proceed, I encourage everyone to participate actively by asking questions and making constructive conclusions that will enhance the quality of our education. It is my desire that this center will be insightful, impactful, and beneficial to our academic. Once again, you are welcome, and I wish us a fruitful and engaging section. Thank you.
Round of applause for the lead once again. Well, next on the agenda is the Vice Chancellor address. I would like to call on the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Olawale, for the Vice Chancellor address.
I want to recognize the name and other respected members of the faculty. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor and Vice Chancellor, Professor Ajuwon, I want to recognize all the students and staff in the faculty, greatest Nigerian students, greatest Guru, greatest Ghana. Because without you, can't be here. We recognize you. I'm going to congratulate you and every member of the faculty for the occasion that we there. It's one of the youngest faculties we have in the university. We are having a second seminar series. Please come in. Can you please clap for yourself? Academic exercises like these are indicators of the vibrant mind that we have in the faculty. So I celebrate you on behalf of the Vice Chancellor for great things you guys are doing here. Permit me to recognize and appreciate the being. And I know you are going places. You are going places. I want to believe you have your notes and your pen with you. It's going to be an engaging time, and I know by the time you are done here, you have learned one thing or the other. So, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, I'm going to declare the seminar in the name of God the Father, and God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. We have the fruit. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for our Deputy Vice Chancellor. Now, I would like to call upon Dr. Oye-Ekiti from the Department of Science and Technology for the citation of the presenter. A round of applause for him.
I think I will stand now.
Standing on the existing protocol, let us put our hands together as Professor Olawale Ajuwon rises. Put our hands together. No time to use citation. Professor Olawale Ajuwon completed his Bachelor of Science degree in biochemistry at State University Oye-Ekiti, and his Master's of Science degree in biochemistry at University of Lagos. Professor Olawale Ajuwon started his career at Federal University Agriculture Ajuwon in 2005 as an assistant lecturer. His doctoral degree in biomedical science at the Oxidative Stress Research Center, Peninsula University of Technology, Belgium, South Africa, in 2018. During his doctoral study, he has worked on and now promoting the effects of yogurt, also known as the South African herbal tea, and the red palm. He specifically worked on potential benefits of yogurt and red palm oil supplementation on biomarkers of oxidative stress, inflammation, and apostate in the different in vivo models of oxidant-induced injuries. Immediately after his PhD in 2013, he was appointed as a postdoctoral fellow at the same center, University of Peninsula University of Technology, South Africa. In May 2014, he joined the academic group at the Leaders Laboratory, Department of Human Biology, University of Cape Town, for another postdoctoral study. Where he worked on special transcription of pigmentation and oxidant response to phytodynamic therapy-induced cells death resistance in melanoma cancer. In September 2016, Professor Olawale Ajuwon joined the Christian Human Group, the Department of Biomedical Sciences, University of Lausanne, Switzerland, as a Swiss government excellence fellow, making the top postdoctoral study. During that period, he furthered his research on investigating the efficacy of chemo and photodynamic therapy combination in non-melanoma skin cancer. Professor Olawale Ajuwon in 2018 returned to Nigeria and joined the service of Federal University Oye-Ekiti as a senior lecturer, and was through the line to become a professor. In 2024, Professor Olawale Ajuwon is a recipient of many awards and fellowships, including the Honorary South Africa's Visiting Research Fellowship Tools, Cardiovascular Research Group, University of Sydney, August 2013. He also received NIL freestanding postdoctoral fellowship in 2014. He also a recipient of Cloud Year postdoctoral fellowship in 2015, and also a recipient of Skills Project Excellence Scholarship in 2016. Professor Olawale Ajuwon is a member of professional bodies, including the Nigerian Society of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, South African Society of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, Society for celebration and a deserving round of applause. I welcome Professor Ajuwon for his presentation.
Thank you very much. Let's be seated. Let's be seated. Thank you very much. The Vice Chancellor, ably represented by the DVC, Professor Babatunde Afolabi, the Dean, Faculty of Life Sciences, all head of department hereby present, ladies and gentlemen. I'm standing on all existing protocol as I present the second edition of the Faculty of Life Sciences Seminar Series. I became aware of the therapeutic or health effects of red palm oil as a toddler about 50 years ago. Then there is a ritual in our house. You know, we are many and all of us are actually staying with our grandma. The ritual is that every Saturday, all of us, we must take a spoon of red palm oil. Then I didn't know what that ritual was for. Another thing I also observed then was the fact that for every little ailment, the go-to therapy then is palm oil. Ranging from if you mistakenly ate soap, for example, you are given palm oil. If you have a burn, you will also be given, at least you rub the place of the burn also with palm oil. All this aroused my curiosity as a child then. And when I had the opportunity of conducting research as a scientist, so red palm oil was one of the products that was the first thing that came to my mind. So, based on that, I present to you red palm oil, natural product with diverse health benefits. Now, this presentation will be divided into two parts. In the first part, I will be giving you background information on red palm oil, as well as the composition, the industrial application, as well as the health benefits. And on the health benefits, I will be concentrating more on some of the work that we have also done on red palm oil. The oil palm plant is a family of the palmae, and it originates from tropical rainforest region of West and Central Africa. But as of today, it is a crop that is cultivated in all regions of the world, ranging from the temperate to the tropical rainforest. It is one of the most widely expanding plants in the world, especially with the phenomenal growth in the Southeast Asia, where exportation of red palm oil basically formed the bedrock of their IGR generation in those countries. Now, the palm oil is actually obtained from the oil plant. However, there are two types of oil that can be derived from the oil palm plant. We have the palm kernel oil, and we also have the red palm oil. Now, the red palm oil basically is obtained from the orange-red fleshy mesocarp of the palm fruit, whereas the palm kernel is obtained from the endosperm of the fruit. The endosperm of the fruit. One thing you must know is the fact that palm oil is the most produced vegetable oil in the world, and the global production has risen to about 79.3 million metric tons as at 2024. And red palm oil actually accounted for 35% by weight of vegetable oil market share in the world. Now, figure 3 shows the world palm production by country. If you take a look at that particular figure, Indonesia is the leading palm oil production country, accounting for 58% of the total palm oil production. Malaysia follows, accounting for 25%. Then we have Thailand, Nigeria with 4%, then Colombia and others. We are going to see that 2 countries actually, based on what we have, actually account for more than 80% of the total palm oil production in the world. Now, the palm oil that is produced in Nigeria and other African countries is usually unrefined, and it is actually used in the crude and unprocessed form. Now, it is usually referred to as the crude palm oil because of the fact that it contains non-glyceric components as well as moisture, phospholipids, and other trace elements which actually affect the stability of palm oil. And because of this, it is usually referred to as crude palm oil. Now, I want us to take note of something. The word crude does not mean it is bad. It is only talking about the fact that the quality in terms of the premium that you can get in the international market for the oil. So, because of the impurities that are found in the crude palm oil, what is normally done is to subject palm oil to refining processes. And there are 2 major refining processes. We have physical as well as the chemical refining. Now, these processes actually bring about what we call deodorization and deacidification at very high temperature. Now, for physical refining, the temperature is between 250 to 300 degrees centigrade, and for chemical, it is between 220 to 240 degrees centigrade. And the product of this particular refining process is what we refer to as the refined, bleached, deodorized palm oil. Now, this particular palm oil has all the components of what you have in the original crude palm oil. However, because of the high temperature of the refining process, there is loss of the vital phytochemicals that are found in palm oil. That is the tocopherol as well as the carotenoids. So basically, because of that, the refining process was now refined, at least modified, into what we call the modified physical refining process. Now, the modified process actually bring about deguming and bleaching, as well as deodorization and deacidification by what we call molecular distillation at low temperature and low pressure. And the product of that particular refining process is what is called the red palm oil. The red palm oil, because the modified physical refining process is able to actually retain about 90% of the vitamin E and the carotenoid that we have in red palm oil. After this, red palm oil can also be subjected to what we call the dry fractionation. And with this, we now obtain what we call palm olein. Now, palm olein basically is the normal vegetable oil that most of us use in frying. It comes from red palm oil. Some people will tell you, no, I don't use red palm oil. But the kings, the terra, and all other vegetable oil, all of them come from red palm oil. Then apart from the palm olein, there is also a solidified fraction that is called the palm styrene. So from here, let's quickly take a look at the composition of what we have in red palm oil. Now, red palm oil is made up of 90% triglycerides. That is the fatty acid. And we have both saturated and unsaturated fatty acid in red palm oil. Red palm oil has an advantage of the fact that it has almost equal concentration of both the saturated fatty acid as well as the non-saturated fatty acid. If you take a look at that table, we have palmitic acid, which is the most abundant fatty acid in red palm oil, 44%, and we also have stearic acid, which is 5%. Then for the unsaturated fatty acid, we have oleic acid as well as linoleic acid. If you add up the different composition, you are going to see that we have an almost equal concentration of both the saturated as well as the unsaturated fatty acid. And I want you to take note of this as we go on. Then we also have the vitamin E component of red palm oil. This is made up of the tocopherol and the tocotrienols. The most abundant of the vitamin E are the tocotrienols, and they actually account for about 70% of vitamin E, while the tocopherol actually accounts for just 30%. Then we have the carotenoid, made up of alpha carotene as well as the beta carotene, with the beta carotene being the most abundant, and we also have lycopene as carotenoid that is found in red palm oil. One thing I want to mention here is the fact that the carotenoid content of red palm oil is about 30 times what you have in carrot, and it is about 300 times what you have in tomato. So basically, palm oil is the greatest source of carotenoid in the plant world. We also have, phytosterol, with cytosterol being the most abundant. We have stigmasterol, we have camsterol, and so on like that. And I want you to also take note that only 3% of cholesterol is found in red palm oil. So when people talk about the fact that red palm oil contains cholesterol, we have just 3% of cholesterol. Then there are also other phytochemicals, squalene and ubiquinone, which are all important bioactive phytochemicals. So let's briefly take a look at the industrial uses of red palm oil. Now, the industrial uses of red palm oil depend on the quality of the palm oil. High quality palm oil are usually, are used in edible oil industries, and they are used in making our regular household items, ranging from coffee to coffee creamers to toothpaste and so on like that. So there are so many household products that we use that contain red palm oil, and the solid palm stearine is actually used as the base in the manufacture of margarine, in shortening, as a powder fat, and also in fat spread, and also in infant formula, as well as ice cream. So when you say you don't take palm oil, you must know that in as much as you are actually using this as household item, definitely you are taking in palm oil. Now, low quality palm oil are usually used in the non-edible industry, in the manufacture of soaps, oleochemicals, biolubricants, biodiesels, cosmetics, fumigants, and so on like that. So now I will quickly take you through some of the health benefits of red palm oil. And like I said, I will concentrate more on some of the work that we have done on this. Now, the first health benefit is the hypocholesterolemia effect of red palm oil. One of the things that they normally use to scare us is the fact that, because palm oil contains high amount of saturated fatty acid, then it will definitely raise the lipid profile. However, different evidence has shown that this is not so. In fact, evidence from animal studies and human studies have shown that palm oil or red palm oil is actually positive when it comes to lipid profile, either reducing the lipid profile or remaining neutral. Now, in this one of our work that was published in 2011, what we did was to subject rats that were exposed to lead. We supplemented orally. They were supplemented orally with red palm oil. And one of the things we observed was the fact that lead exposure actually affect the lipid profile by increasing the total cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol, the triglyceride, and also reducing the high density cholesterol. And our result also showed that the dysfunctional lipid metabolism was actually reversed. We saw that in those rats that were taking red palm oil, there was reduction in total cholesterol, reduction in LDL cholesterol, and also triglyceride, while there was an increase in the concentration of HDL cholesterol. So that work was published in 2011. Now, I will go on to also show a table where I just selected some few studies that show the hypocholestemia effect of red palm oil in human, both in volunteers. One study was in Malaysia, another one was in China, and the other one was also in China. Now, all those results actually show evidence that red palm oil have hypocholestemia effect. Another health benefit of red palm oil is the improvement of serum provitamin A, that is the retinol level of vitamin A. Vitamin A deficiency, according to the World Health Organization, is becoming alarming, especially in the low and medium income countries. In fact, in Nigeria, a report actually showed that 30% of children between the ages of 5 and 11 suffer from vitamin A deficiency. And that is a staggering 10 million children that they are talking about there. Studies have shown that where food are fortified with red palm oil, it has actually increases the concentration of retinol in the serum of those children. And apart from that, study also showed that red palm oil also competes favorably with other vegetable oil that were also used. So red palm oil has the ability to improve the serum vitamin A level. So with red palm oil, we can actually use it to actually fight against vitamin A deficiency. Another health benefit has to do with the antioxidant and oxidative stress modulation effect. Because red palm oil contains vitamin E component as well as the carotenoid, it has very good antioxidant properties. In fact, the tocopherols are known as very good scavenger of reactive oxygen reactive oxygen species. So basically, red palm oil has very good antioxidant effect. Now, in one of our studies that was published in 2013, what we did here was to supplement red palm oil orally to rats that were exposed to tertiary butyl hydroperoxide. Now, this particular chemical is well known for inducing oxidative injury. So, we supplemented the diet of the rat with red palm oil, and we observed that red palm oil was able to actually reverse the changes that we saw in those rats. For example, we observed that in rats that were exposed to tertiary butyl hydroperoxide, there was increase in the biomarker of oxidative stress, including MDA and protein carbonyl, and there was a reduction in the antioxidant enzymes in those rats. And our study showed that in the rats that were supplemented with red palm oil, there was a decrease in conjugated dienes and malondialdehyde, which are both indicators for oxidative stress, as well as an increase in the GSH to GSSG ratio. We also observe an increase in the activity of of those antioxidant enzymes, SOD, GPX, as well as GR. The next effect we will also look at is the anti-inflammatory effect. In this study, we also investigated whether red palm oil can actually bring about anti-inflammatory effect. In the study, we subjected rats to lipopolysaccharide, which is a known toxin that normally brings about inflammatory response. And we saw that in those rats, we observed that there was oxidative damage characterized by increase in MDA and conjugated dynes, as well as reduction in the activity of antioxidant enzyme. And we observed that in the rats that were given red palm oil, there was lowering of the MDA and conjugated dyne, as well as catalase, and there was an increase in DSA to GSSD ratio, as well as increase in the activity of GPX and GR. That shows that red palm oil is able to actually bring about antioxidant effect. We also observed that marker of inflammatory response, that is tumor necrosis factor alpha, interleukin-1 beta, and interleukin 6, that were elevated in the rats that were challenged with lipopolysaccharide were actually reduced in those rats. We also saw an increase in interleukin 10. Interleukin 10 is a cytokine which is an anti-inflammatory cytokine. Now, in this study, we proceed to now try to now delineate the mechanism that would be responsible for those antioxidants as well as the anti-inflammatory effect. And what we did was to look at the activation of the NF-kappa beta pathway, as well as the activation of the NRF2 signaling pathway. And what we observed is that there was activation of the NRF2 signaling pathway, as we have increase or upregulation in the gene expression of NRF2, as well as increase also in the gene expression of this downstream target of NRF2, that is the DCLM and DCLC, as well as HO1. And we also saw that we have a deregulation of the NF-kappa beta gene expression, as well as a decrease also in the expression of the IK kinase, which is a protein that is also important for the activation of the NF-kappa beta pathway. So what we can bring out from here is that red palm oil is able to actually ameliorate oxidative stress, as well as the inflammatory response, as a result of activation of the NRF2 pathway, and also deactivation or inhibition of the NF-kappa beta pathway. Now, apart from all these benefits that I have talked about, there are also other health benefits that I will show in the next slide. These are some of the other effects that red palm oil has been reported to have. Cardiovascular, the ability to actually inhibit cardiovascular disease, and there are so many studies that has looked on that, both animal as well as human study. Anti-cancer effect is also there too. Then protection against injury to organs. In fact, in almost all our work, we were able to see that supplementing red palm oil was able to actually bring about healing to the liver and the kidney in those studies. Also, the anti-diabetic effect of red palm oil have also been reported. So that is the background for the presentation. Now, I will now go into this particular work, which have just been concluded in our lab. It is yet unpublished, but I will present the result for us to be able to also buttress what we have seen in the other studies. Now, doxorubicin is a well-known antibiotic that belongs to the family of anthracycline. It is a broad-spectrum anti-cancer agent with proven efficacy against most tumor. And because of this, it is one of the most prescribed anti-cancer agents in the clinic. However, before I go into that, the anti-cancer efficacy of doxorubicin is derived from its ability to actually intercalate with DNA in the tumor cells and also inhibit the topoisomerase 2 enzyme in the in tumor cells, thereby bringing about apoptosis or death of those tumor cells. However, doxorubicin is not specific in this action. So the same thing it does to the tumor cell is also what it will do to the normal cell. And because of this, there has been injuries to many organs when doxorubicin is used. Now, the most important or the major side effect of doxorubicin is the cardiotoxicity, that is, ability to actually induce injury to the heart. And evidence has shown that between 9 to 48% of patients that are prescribed with doxorubicin actually develop cardiotoxicity, depending on the cumulative dose that is used. Now, how does doxorubicin bring about this side effect? What we have seen is that the pathophysiology of doxorubicin is multifactorial, and there are so many mechanisms that has been highlighted, including oxidative stress, inflammation, apoptosis, energy metabolism, as well as endothelial dysfunction and also mitochondrial dysfunction. All these are some of the mechanisms that has been highlighted as the mechanism of the side effect that is developed by doxorubicin. A particular signaling pathway have also been fingered in the cardiotoxicity of doxorubicin, and that is the PI3 kinase, SGK1, NF-kappa beta signaling pathway. Now, the PI3 kinase pathway basically is actually a very important signaling pathway that is actually responsible for proliferation as well as for survival of cells. In tumor cells, activation of that particular pathway usually bring about resistance. So in this study, we also want to see whether red palm oil is also able to modulate this particular signaling pathway. Now, these are the objectives of that particular study. We want to evaluate the effect of red palm oil on the level of cardiac function markers in rats that were exposed to doxorubicin. We also want to see whether red palm oil will have any effect on the red blood marker. We also want to see whether it will have effect on the inflammatory marker, and also see if it will also modulate the PI3K, SGK1, NF-kappa beta signaling pathway. And for the study, we utilized 30 Western rats, and they were divided into 6 groups as shown in that particular table. We have the control group, which were injected with saline twice every week. We have what we call the DOX4 group. They were injected with 4 milligram per kilogram of doxorubicin IP twice per week. And we have a group that is injected with doxorubicin 4 milligram and also taking red palm oil 250 microliter. We have the DOX16 group. Those ones were given 16 milligram per kilogram of doxorubicin, and that is on day 13 of that experiment. And the 5th group were given the DOX16 as well as the red palm oil. And we now have a group that is taking only the red palm oil. Now, there's something I want you to notice here. We have 2 groups of doxorubicin that were untreated. In the second group, now in group 2, we use 4 milligram of doxorubicin twice every week. What we did there is because the side effect that is shown by doxorubicin is related to the dose. We want to see the effect of dividing the doses of doxorubicin, and then in the other group that were given 16 milligram, we want to see the effect of giving the cumulative dose and see what red palm oil will do in both group. And these are the results that we were able to see. Now, I said that one of the objectives is to look at the effect that red palm oil will have on LDH, that is on marker of cardiac function, that is LDH, CKMB, cardiac troponin, as well as cardiac troponin T. Now, these biomarkers are usually located in different organs and tissue in the body under normal condition. However, when there is injury to any of these, to these organs, these markers are usually elevated in the blood. So, what we observed was that for both the DOC4 and DOC16 group, there was increase in the concentration of all those markers after 2 weeks. And we also observed that for the group that were treated with red palm oil, we observed that those effects were actually reversed. If not totally, at least we were able to see a significant reduction in their activity. So this is telling us that red palm oil is able to actually lower those biomarkers, thereby also ameliorating the cardiotoxicity effect. Now, in order to confirm what we see here, we also take a look at the histology of the heart in those rats. And we saw that the different lesions that we have in the group that were taking DOX alone, that is the group B and the group E, were also reversed in the group that were also taking red palm oil. So this is an indication that red palm oil is able to bring about a regeneration of the heart that was subjected to doxorubicin. Next, we look at the effect of red palm oil on DOX-induced changes in red blood factor. Now, the red blood factor we use is MDA for oxidative stress, as well as the activity of enzymes, that is SOD catalase and GSH now, in those rats. Now, we have elevation in both groups taking doxorubicin in MDA, and we also have a significant reduction in the activity of those enzymes. And when red palm oil is supplemented, we saw that the effect was actually reversed. There was a reduction in the MDA in both cases, as well as also increase in the activity of those antioxidant enzymes. Now, this result should not be shocking to us, because red palm oil is known to contain a bioactive component that are known antioxidants. Those phytochemicals are able to actually scavenge free radicals and also boost the synthesis of GSH, which is the most important intracellular antioxidant in the body. Then we also looked at the effect of red palm oil on DOX-induced inflammatory response. We use cytokine level now, TNF alpha, interleukin 1 beta, as well as interleukin 10. And we saw that in the rats that were subjected to doxorubicin and untreated, there was an increase in TNF alpha and interleukin 1 beta. These two cytokines are pro-inflammatory cytokines, and an elevation in their concentration in circulation is an indication of inflammatory response. And we also observed that the decrease in interleukin 10 in the DOX treated group was also improved in the doxorubicin group. So showing that red palm oil is bringing about an anti-inflammatory response in those rats. Then finally, we now try to see if red palm oil will actually modulate the PI3K, SDK1, NF kappa beta pathway. And we observed that for PI3K, SDK1, as well as the NF kappa beta, there was an activation, as we observed a significant upregulation in the gene expression of this protein And when red palm oil was actually supplemented, there was a reverse. Those increases were actually reduced, showing that red palm oil is able to modulate the PI3K, SGK1, NF-kappa B pathway. Now, one thing we must understand is that in the previous slide, I reported that there were increase in the level of the cytokine. That increase may actually be as a result of the modulation of this particular pathway. That is the activation of the NF-kappa B protein that is seen here. So, the takeaway from this study is that supplementing red palm oil in doxorubicin induced rats is able to bring about amelioration in oxidative stress and also reverse inflammatory dysfunction, and this effect might actually be due to the modulation of the PI3K, SGK1, NF-kappa B pathway. In conclusion, red palm oil is more than just a traditional cooking oil. It is a safe, nutrient and phytochemical-rich natural product with significant health benefits. Its high content of antioxidants support healthy vision, as you can see in one of the slides where there was an increase in serum provitamin A. It can also combat oxidative stress as well as inhibit inflammatory dysfunction. And in all, the balanced saturated and unsaturated fatty acid profile that we have in red palm oil actually contribute to heart health. And as interest in natural and functional food continue to grow, red palm oil offers a valuable option that connects nutrition and health. And these are some of the references. And before I finish, I would like to acknowledge the following organizations as well as some individuals. I will want to acknowledge the Federal University Oye-Ekiti for giving or providing the enabling environment to actually carry out meaningful research. I will also want to acknowledge the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, where some of the work that were reviewed were also carried out. The Cape Peninsula University of Technology is also acknowledged, as well as the University of Cape Town. Those two universities actually provided funding for some of this work. I would also like to thank these individuals. First, I would want to acknowledge and thank Professor J.L. Manovic and Professor Femi Ogutibeju. Both of them were my doctoral studies supervisor at CPUT. And also, I also want to acknowledge Professor Lester Davids of then of the University of Cape Town. He was my PI and supervisor during my postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Cape Town. And lastly, I will want to acknowledge and thank my colleagues in the Department of Biochemistry, as well as my undergraduate and postgraduate students, both past and present. Thank you for listening.
Now we have a question. I'm going to give numbers. We have 6 questions. And 5 from staff and 1.
I thought I brought
5 from staff and 1 from Professor Ametu, Dr. Isabel. Okay, 4. I'll be one here, I'll be 2 here, I'll be 1 here, you are the here, who will be. Okay, I'll do it. 5. We are going to do 6. Please, question. Please summarize the question and ask the least answer. lecturer will take note of all the questions and will take them all at once.
I seriously appreciate, and I'm not going to ask my question. I'm going to ask my question on behalf of a palm oil farmer. On behalf of the palm oil farmer, we noticed that before now, people do traditional processing, which is one of the questions my colleague asked me, asking the community of. But in modern processing, I just want you to enlighten us. One, as a biochemist, I am non-learned, I only hear English. The local people allows, why does the local people? I don't want to finish because there is no modern equipment alone. Allow their palm bunch fruits to stay down before they process. The difference. Then the modern farmers process under less than 6 hours of harvesting the bunch. That is part one. Part two of that question. At nightfall, as a farmer, we went to nightfall. I noticed that you told us 3% of cholesterol. At nightfall, it is less than 0.5% cholesterol. And we observed that on that excursion, apart from the breed they have, we observed that they identify where to harvest. So immediately they harvest, they take down. You know, that's part of the excuse they gave us. So, and the last comment I want to leave with anybody that cares to farm palm oil, we call it red gold in our association. You know the value of gold. Gold is a generational wealth. The same thing happens to farming of palm oil. Now in Nigeria, we have not, I repeat, started exporting palm oil the way it should, because the local demand for industrial use, even the big guns, in my association we have a lot of billionaires. Some of them is abuse that they call small London in Ondo State, plenty of them like that. They only supply the local industry and they have not yet been able to meet that. So the last point, number 3 question is wrap up in biochemically. How do we move to be able to export red gold and take a lot of foreign earnings? Because red gold is more expensive internationally than cocoa.
Our DVC here presents Professor Olatunde, the Dean of the Faculty of Life Science, Professor Ajuwon, all the HODs on seat, my fellow professors, distinguished colleagues, and our dear students. I greet you all. The great lecturer of today, our man, our professor, I greet you immensely.
Thank you, sir.
You have fed us from your wealth of knowledge. In fact, this kind of a lecture is very rare in the university system. A lecture that any person called human beings will really appreciate. That's your lecture, sir. Back all.
Thank you, sir.
We don't need a soothsayer to tell us what is inside the sandy can or geyser. We know that it is fish enter. We know that the guest, our lecturer, our professor, what you have delivered today, in fact, is a kind of, even
I'm perceiving the turmoil. There's no any home, even abroad, that they will not take turmoil. Thank you very much for choosing. I know that you have so many topics, but for choosing this, it's a blessing to FUOYE and every one of us. Thank God. Now, my question. Even your face that is shining, I know it's still turmoil. Now, when we were young, our old grandmas, especially when we have measles, how do you see anyone in Africa that don't have measles, especially the children? They will pour palm oil on our body, on the whole body. They will make it up and pack palm oil, and before you know what, it will disappear. That is what they are using as calamine lotion today. When you take 2 bottles of calamine lotion, the thing may not go, the modern one, but the palm oil, it will go. They do call it in Yoruba ẹ̀rọ̀ ní epo. If you take poison, and you take palm oil, that poison will disappear. You will drink it, and you have mentioned it. Now, it prevents itching. I want to ask, what is inside the palm oil? Professor Ajuwon, please help us continue this research to know what is in it that we make the poison to be poisonless, that will make the itch to go. Please help us continue. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Standing on the already existing protocol, I want to appreciate indefatigable professor of the faculty for this wonderful lecture, for this inspiring and educative lecture. I want to say I've gained a lot. My question is this, sir. When I saw the flyer at first, I saw red palm oil. It caught my attention. And I said, yes, I have to be here because I have palm oil in my kitchen and I always use it. So I must know if there is a palm oil with another color. Because I know that we always refer to palm oil as palm oil, and then we have palm kernel, and then from your lecture you were able to portray the point that palm oil is from, or the red palm oil, as you mentioned, is from the fruit of the palm. So the red palm oil, is there a reason why you call it red palm oil? Or do we have another color of palm oil and maybe to refer to it as a red palm oil? That is one question. The second question is this, sir. With all the health benefits, I'm beginning to think, as I'm sitting down here, that I will be taking or giving my children or advise my children to be taking a spoon of palm oil daily. Now, my question is this. Are we going to get all the health benefit by taking the palm oil raw because we normally cook it? We normally use it to cook. Or the question could be like, when we use the palm oil to cook, does it retain all the health benefit that you have mentioned? Thank you so much.
The implementation of Professor Ajuwon, I want to recognize the presence of the HOD, Department of Plant Science and Biotechnology, and our friends from Faculty of Physical Sciences, and also the Dean, Faculty of Physical Sciences, Professor Ajuwon. Thank you. Thank you.
Standing on existing protocol, sir, I want to sincerely thank and appreciate our Prof for this lecture that has been well delivered. But my question is this, sir. We know that in most cases, most of the things that have advantages do have one or two disadvantages at a point in time. I would like to ask, with all these advantages of red palm oil, do we have any disadvantage that you can attribute to taking red palm oil? Because from my experience, people that are Igbos here will know what Ofimanu means. My wife calls me Ofimanu, like a person that loves palm oil so much. So I want to know, is there anything that could be wrong in taking too much or liking palm oil too much? Thank you, sir.
Standing on the existing protocol, thank you, Prof. Professor Ajuwon, for your presentation. I served in the East, and there is this wide misconception that red palm oil causes fever. So if you check most of their cartoon, most of their soup is always whitish in color. And I believe it's a misconception. So I want you to educate us this afternoon. And I believe many people in this house also have that misconception that red palm oil causes fever. So I want you to clear that, because I believe the fever is linked to infection. So I want you to make clarification on that. Thank you, sir.
And lastly, please, can you see just come
Standing on the existing protocol, I want to appreciate the faculty for bringing this program to us. This is my second time of attending the faculty seminar series, and it has always been a wonderful experience. Thank you very much. So my question is that when he was doing the presentation, he said vegetable oil is gotten from palm oil through dry fractionating. But people said vegetable oil is not good. People always have this prejudice against the vegetable oil. And so far it is gotten from palm oil. And palm oil is having equal antioxidants and equal saturated and unsaturated fat. So it's a very good one. So why is it that the vegetable oil that is gotten from palm oil is now seen as a bad oil? Thank you, sir.
The professor is jotting his answer.
No, not answer. Jotting question. I'll take your work.
Thank you very much. So I will start with the first question. Prof. Ajuwon, you wanted to know why some farmers will keep their fruit and leaves on the ground for some time, while some will actually start the extraction process immediately. Now, one of the things you must understand with palm oil is that the quality of the oil and the composition depend on so many factors. For example, the state of maturity of the fruit affects the quality. It also affects the composition. Whether the plant itself is affected by any disease or pests will affect the quality. So for local farmers, we know that what they do basically is they produce palm oil for local consumption. So for them, it doesn't cost them anything to leave it for some time. But for people who provide palm oil, especially maybe for industrial application for export, they don't have that luxury of time. So it is just for convenience's sake. That is why the local farmers will leave it for some time while for those who are producing for on the industrial scale, we do it immediately. But one thing is this: basically, there will be difference in the quality of the palm oil. Now, one thing we have known is that if you leave palm oil to stay for some time, it actually reduces the concentration of free fatty acid that you have from palm oil. Whereas for the industrial scale, they don't need to leave it. Even if it has free fatty acid, they will subject it to the refining process, which basically is to actually remove some of those free fatty acids that we have in the palm oil. So that is, I hope that answer that question. Now, you also asked why that the oil from NIFOR, Prof, you also asked that the oil from NIFOR has 0.1% cholesterol, whereas when I was presenting, I said 3%. The 3% is based on our own work. And like I said, geographical location, the soil type, environmental matter, exactly. Even the species of the fruit all affect the composition of the saturated fatty acid as well as other bioactive components that are found in palm oil. So I hope that answered that question. Now, Professor Ahmed, you said you want to know what is inside palm oil. I think I actually, there was a slide that shows everything that we have inside palm oil. Palm oil contains vitamin E, the tocopherol and the tocotrienols. Palm oil contains carotenoids. Palm oil contains squalene. Palm oil contains ubiquinone. All these are well-known antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agents, and they are actually responsible for the effect that we see when somebody drinks a poison. We know that for most poison, the mechanism is mostly via generation of reactive oxygen species, and what we have in palm oil are non-antioxidants that can actually avenge this reactive oxygen species. So that may be one of the reasons why palm oil is able to actually act against poison. Thank you very much. Then, another question, I think this is from Dr. Ajuwon. He said whether there is palm oil with another color. Now, I mentioned something. I said, when we extract palm oil anywhere in the world, what we obtain is the crude palm oil. And the reason it is called the crude is not because of the color, no. It is because of the fact that there are some undesirable components that we have in palm oil. We have free fatty acids, we have phospholipids, we have trace elements, we have even metal contaminants in the crude palm oil. And that is the reason why it is called crude palm oil. However, on the international market stage, the crude palm oil do not command good price. And that is the reason why in Malaysia, in Indonesia, they will subject their palm oil to the refining process. Now, when you subject palm oil to the refining process, especially the physical and the chemical refining process, I said what is obtained is what we call the refined, bleached, deodorized red palm oil. From that, you know that the color is not red. So the color of the bleached and deodorized red palm oil is not red. In fact, it is basically like white. Are you getting it now? And the reason is this: the refining process actually destroys the carotenoid and the tocopherol that we have in palm oil. And the carotenoid is what actually gives the red color to our palm oil. So that is why when the physical refining process is modified to get the red palm oil. The carotenoid as well as the tocopherol content are usually retained, and the red color is also retained. That particular palm oil that has been subjected to modified physical refining is what is known as the red palm oil. The one we use is the crude palm oil. Not that it is bad, I think I mentioned this. It is just that to command good price, the quality is poor. And the major reason is because of the few fatty acids that we have in the crude palm oil. And like I said, the industrial application of palm oil depends on the quality. What they want is that they want a palm oil that has, at most, less than 0.1% of free fatty acid. Whereas in the crude palm oil, we have as high as between 13 to 15% of free fatty acid. So I hope that answers the question. Then we also want to know whether we will get the oil benefit from palm oil when we take it raw. Yes, definitely. Now, it is established that the saturated fatty acid and the unsaturated fatty acid component that you have in the red palm oil is what we also have in the crude palm oil. And the bioactive component too, the vitamin E, the carotenoid, and other components that we have in the red palm oil are also found in the same proportion in the crude palm oil that we use. So definitely, if I will always even advise that people should actually take red palm oil raw instead of we used to cook, but at the same time we can also use raw. The reason for this is this. I mean, our custom when we are cooking is that the first thing you do is that you want to cook, you want to make your soup, you put palm oil and you allow it to fry before you now put your the pepper and everything. Now, it has been shown that thermally oxidized palm oil is actually very, very bad. And that is why if we can reconnect, our mothers, our grandmas, what they do is that when they want to cook, they put all the other ingredients first before they now add the palm oil. So there is nothing wrong in actually taking red palm oil, at least the way it is. At least a small teaspoonful, I mean, is good. Is good for the children. Then I think another question is whether there is any disadvantage with taking red palm oil. I think that one was there from Dr. Now, to the best of my knowledge, based on studies that we have carried out and other studies that I have reviewed, there is no known documented safety issue with red palm oil. There is no known documented evidence of safety issue with red palm oil. Now, most of the outcry against red palm oil was not based on safety. It was actually based on whether palm oil will cause increase in the lipid profile, and because of that, now have effect on the heart. And the evidence has shown that this does not happen. Actually, the hypercholesterolic effect of red palm oil is due to some factors. Now, the first thing is the fact that whether a fatty acid will be absorbed into the circulation depends on one very important thing. It depends on the position of that particular fatty acid on the triglyceride backbone. There are three positions. We have position 1, 2, and 3. Now, what we have seen from studies is that the position 2 is where absorption of fatty acid takes place. Now, in red palm oil, the fatty acid that normally occupy that position 2 are the unsaturated fatty acid. And because of that, they are the one that will be absorbed into circulation. Whereas the saturated are usually located at position 1 and position 3, which prevents the absorption. Are you getting that now? So basically, that is one of the reasons. The position of the fatty acid, the unsaturated fatty acid on that position 2 on the triglyceride backbone. Now, another reason for the hypercholesteremic effect has to do with the tocotrienols. The tocotrienols are very good antioxidants. But apart from that, they have also been found to actually inhibit HMG-CoA reductase, which is the rate-limiting enzyme of the biosynthesis of cholesterol. So what normally happens is that the tocotrienols normally inhibit the enzyme and then prevents the biosynthesis of cholesterol. So that is another reason why red palm oil will not increase the cholesterol and the triglyceride that we have. Another thing is this: all those components are strong antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agent, and the synergistic working of all of them also have health promoting effect. And we should also not forget that saturated fatty acid, the unsaturated, are found in almost equal concentration in red palm oil. And red palm oil is the only oil where you have that of all vegetable oil. So those are the reasons why red palm oil will not raise the cholesterol level in the body. Thank you. Then the last question from the student is that why vegetable oil gotten from red palm oil is referred to as bad oil. I don't think there is anywhere we are going to say that, okay, you see clean oil and you tell you it is a bad oil. No. Now, the outcry basically is against red palm oil. And like I said, evidence has shown that those outcry are misplaced. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. What I want to know if the component of the component that we have in the red palm oil is also present in the vegetable oil. Now, the vegetable oil that we normally use, like I said, is from red palm oil, and it is called the palm olein. Are you getting it now? The fatty acid component is similar. The only thing is that the carotenoid as well as the tocopherol are not the same as what you have in the red palm oil, and that makes red palm oil even more beneficial than the vegetable that we use. Thank you.
Thank you. A round of applause for the presenter of the day. Before I call upon the Deputy Vice Chancellor for the presentation of certificate, I want to announce that please, after this program, Dr. D will do happen to be the level advisor for 400 level, says he wants to see you, so you wait behind. I would like to call on the Deputy Vice Chancellor for the presentation of certificate to the presenter. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, I would like to invite Professor Ajuwon, the chairman, for this occasion, for the vote of thanks. Please, round of applause for him. Chairman of the seminar, sorry.
Na this signature be this now. Yes, signature quite different.
The Vice Chancellor, ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Batunde Afolabi. I want to specifically start by appreciating him because it is very, very rare. I think it's the second or third time that I've seen a Vice Chancellor or representative stay from the beginning to the end of the program. Thank you very, very much. You know, this palm oil issue is very, very important too. There's nothing palm oil cannot do. It's a universal thing. So thank you very much. The Dean, Faculty of Physical Sciences, in the person of Professor Cecilia Akitayo, our own Dean, the host Dean, Faculty of Life Sciences, Professor Ajuwon, our erudite professors from outside our faculty. I've seen so many of them. Professor Ahmed, Professor Olumayede, and those from the college, please, we appreciate you very, very much. We also appreciate our own internal professors. We don't need to thank ourselves now. We are numerous, and I don't want to start calling names because one of the reasons why I don't like doing vote of thanks is that when you start calling names now, you meet one person. And when you go outside now, it's a problem. So I want to thank all the professors present from the Faculty of Life Sciences. Yeah, so no professors are not professors yet. There are still many. I want to especially thank the group from innovation and digital. I don't even know what to call them. The professor of that group. Every represented here by Imam. As we are here, this lecture is being streamed all over the world. So please, I want to participate them especially. Thank you very much. So there is live streaming and everywhere they are watching it. I want to thank all other members of the academic and non-academic staff that are here, different people from all over the university. I want to thank all the invited guests. All invited guests. Of course, the HODs are our own too, so we are together. I want to thank all the HODs present. Please, a round of applause for them. Director of Laboratory Sciences, Mr. Oke, please, are you there? Thank you very, very much for coming. And Director of all the labs. Just like I said, I don't like doing both of that because I'm not going to miss one person or the other. So please, if I have not specifically mentioned you, in fact, you are the most important. Please, a round of applause for everybody here. The presenter, Professor Ajuwon, has presented something that is very, very interesting. That is palm oil. We all eat palm oil. And if for one reason or the other you have not been eating palm oil, please start eating it. You know, one of the people that made talk about palm oil said Ofe Manu. Most of you don't know the history behind Ofe Manu. Igbo and Yoruba. So let me just tell you something about Ofe Manu. This palm oil is very, very important too. You know, the Yoruba, when they prepare their soup, the palm oil is outstanding outside. The palm oil is seen. But when we Igbos prepare our own, we also use palm oil. Our palm oil is hidden. So that is the history behind Ofe Manu. So when you see palm oil in Yoruba soup, it is visible. When you see palm oil in Igbo soup, it is hidden. So when the Igbo say Ofe Manu, it's just saying that palm oil is seen. So palm oil is very, very powerful. This faculty seminar series, this is the second in the series. The first one happened last month, and it was on mosquitoes, and I made that presentation. This one is on palm oil. The next one we did by EMT, is department by department, EMT. Another one we did by microbiology, then PhD we present. What we do in the faculty seminar series is to showcase what the departments are doing. We want departments to come and tell us what they are doing so that it will improve collaboration, it will also improve networking. Like I remember when I carry my mosquitoes up and down, people might not know what I'm doing. So when I present, you understand what I'm doing with the mosquitoes. And we also make it simple. We make it simple in such a way that we don't want too much science. Just pick something like mosquito, palm oil, simple things. So the subsequent departments that will be presenting, please keep it simple so that everybody will be able to enjoy it. Yes, without these wonderful students, there is no way this place would have been lively. So let me specially thank all the students, especially from the Department of Biochemistry. They have been very, very wonderful. In fact, I have been highly impressed. You know why? For the first time, I wanted to say something. I said for the first time, we've had a presentation like this, and the students have been very, very well, no noise. It's a lot of applause for you. So, finally, I want to thank God. I want to thank God for making this occasion possible. And we expect to see you in our next presentation next month. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Please, if you want to have a good photograph, first of all, we'll start with the staff, on the high table, with the presenter. We start from this way, staff here. Please, can you please come up? Let's start with the high table first. High table first. I take a good photograph. Can we move? Yeah.
Professor, I really feel the price, but they lay range of 151 against and the 41. We need the late I'm going to say
Then faculty seminar committee, our professors first. Our professors, please, our professors. Our professors in the faculty of science, commerce science. Our professors.